Captain Isaac Biddlecomb was carrying more sail than was prudent, more sail than was even safe, for the 35 knots of wind gusting from the south-southwest. It was a fact of which he was quite aware, but chose to ignore, hoping instead that the Judea's thin spars would bear the strain for an hour more, an hour and a half at the most. He pushed himself off the leeward rail and walked up the steeply sloping quarterdeck to the weather side, noting again with some irritation that such physical activity was not as effortless as it had once been. It wasn't his age, he was only 28, and while he no longer had the lean, tough physique that he had enjoyed as a foremast sailor and even as a mate, he could hardly be considered fat. Still, the work of a ship's captain and its concomitant lack of physical activity was spoiling him, and he made a vague resolve to do something about it. Biddlecomb reached the weather side, grabbed on to the cap-rail atop the bulwark, and peered aloft. His long dark hair, bound in a queue, whipped around his head and stung his cheek like driving rain, and the tail end of his long wool coat beat against his legs. His cocked hat was jammed into the binnacle box for safekeeping. He buttoned the uppermost of the silver buttons on the coat and flipped the broad collar up to keep the wind off his neck and to tame his flogging hair as he studied the sails and spars above. In the light of the gibbous moon, he could make out the fore and main topgallant masts, 100 feet and more above the deck. They bowed dangerously to leeward, bending to the pressure of the yard and sail. He looked down at the water rushing along the ship's side and streaming aft in a long straight wake, before disappearing in the night. They were making 8 knots at least, more likely 8.5. Through the darkness he could just see the loom of the land ahead, the colony of Rhode Island. In an hour they would be safe in Bristol.